From the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California, it's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Get it started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, I'm Coach C. Collins.
Coach MJ, GGT.
And welcome to Bout That Life podcast, where we talk a little basketball, some AAU life, and everything in between. Once again, thank you for those who have been supporting. Really appreciate it. It's been a really cool help. We've had some great guests. If you're here and you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It only takes a second for you. It's free, and it obviously helps the show. Help us out with that algorithm a little bit. If you're listening on the audio side, leave a review, hit a follow. It's always appreciated. We know we're growing. I watch it growing every week, every month. Our guests are a huge part of that as well. We have great guests with great followings, and you have become our supporters as well. So I know me and Mark really appreciate it. We're just trying to keep growing this thing little by little, right, Mark?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Let me give a shout out to our sponsors real quick, West Coast Legends. Go ahead and give them a call, Marcus or Danae. They help with sublimation, jerseys, apparel, like anything you need as far as marketing yourself and merchandising. They can go ahead and hook that up for you. Dr. Dish, definitely appreciate them. Best shooting machine on the market. They have the home version, the Rebel, the All-Star. Go ahead, give them a call. Tell them About That Life sent you. They'll hook you up. And then, of course, Hardwood Palace and Courtside. Basketball, they if you're looking for tournaments, you're looking for good AAU events, they're definitely the people to hit up. Hit up Steve at Hardwood or Jacob at Courtside. All the links for these guys will be in the description, so please feel free to check them out. So we're on episode 32, Mark.
Yes, sir.
We keep pushing in. We keep trying to get good content to you. The good part is we got a great influx of guests. Mm-hmm. People keep wanting to be here. They keep want to tell their stories, and that's what I love about what I'm doing here and what we have built here is we just love hearing people's stories and their journeys. And, if it helps anybody out there, helps a kid, helps a parent, helps a coach or an AAU program, a trainer, anybody, like we're glad to lend our voice to the basketball community. So moving along, let's talk about our guests. I've known this brother quite a while. He is definitely someone I respect madly. He's worked from the ground up, and I can respect that because I know exactly what that's like. I know Mark knows what that's like. Mm-hmm. You're talking to you have 3 trainers in this room who understand the game, played the game, but also know what it's like, really investing in yourself and creating something out of nothing. Basically, we're going to talk all about it, networking. Obviously building bridges, trying to work with others, the communities you're in, the demographics of people you're around, location. We're going to try to get all that into this episode so they completely understand, like, because again, and we'll get into it more and more, but I'm sure for you, Mark, just like myself, and I'm sure you, Blair, like, I get questioned a lot, like, how did you make this happen? How did you create this? And I figured this would be a great episode to kind of elaborate and break all that down. So without further ado, let me introduce I'm gonna make sure Blair Orr, right?
Yep,
there you go. Blair Orr.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you being here, brother.
Absolutely.
So before we elaborate into what you do with your gym his everything for him will be in the description as well, like usual, his social media links, his company links, website. Why don't you go ahead and tell us the name of your program?
Yeah, so my name is Blair. I own Lead Athletic Performance.
Nice. And where is that located?
Here in Roseville.
All right, cool. So before we get into that, let's talk about you and your basketball journey. Tell us where you played AAU, where you played high school, college, all that good stuff. You don't have to go through every single detail. You can give us the cliff notes, but go ahead.
That'd take a few hours. I did what a lot of people are doing now. I don't think that switching teams, it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
Like I did that.
Right.
I was with Ryan Silver.
Oh, okay.
As a kid, I was with the Punt Brothers.
Yep.
And there was a lot of moving around. And so now I have some athletes who are in high school. I'm like, I try to encourage them just to stay with one program.
Right.
But I look back and, like, I transferred high schools. I transferred college.
Okay.
And so, but, like, those are some of the experiences that I'm able to turn around and kind of show, like, hey, it might not always be greener on the other side.
Right. Which high schools did you go to?
So I went to Santa Clara in Oxnard, California, Southern California, and then I went to El Camino in Woodland Hills, so more in L.A.
Okay.
And I made that transition because I wanted to be in that L.A. basketball scene.
Right.
And then straight from L.A., I went to Canada, played a year in Canada.
Nice.
At a university. And just kind of decided, I was like, I really want to play D1. Like everyone wants to play D1,
of course, yeah.
And I just went for it. And so I gave up a scholarship in Canada, went to Cal State Northridge, walked in as a walk-on, and walked out with a scholarship.
Very cool, very cool, brother.
So it's a unique journey.
You a hooper.
Yeah,
You a hooper.
You're a journeyman, bro.
Yeah, I went through it. Like it wasn't easy.
Yes, of course not.
And psychologically, like that wears on you.
Yeah.
You're the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
You're not that much higher than.
I'm sure you had the days where it was like, I'm not. Fuck this. I'm ready to hang it up. You know what I mean? But you keep pushing.
I had the red shirt when I transferred.
Yeah.
And then I was a walk-on, so I basically red shirt for another 2 years because I was not playing. I got that last 2 minutes of the game if we're up or down 20.
Okay.
And then.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, and then from there I got an opportunity to go play in China. Played for a few months, and then COVID happened, and that was kind of God's sign to say, like, all right, hey, we're moving on to the next thing.
Okay. Very cool. Go ahead, Mark.
The question I wanted to ask you is, of course, we don't have to go too much into detail, but for especially a lot of my kids, because I have a couple kids that, have talked about walking on, and with your experience, because at the end of the day, there's still about who there's politics, but then you still got to be able to hoop.
Yeah.
For you, what was that journey like? Because at the end of the day, we know there's a lot of kids who email coaches like, "Hey, coach, I'm going to come to university. How do I make the team?" And all this. For you, what was that route for you to get that scholarship? It was hard, of course, but what was that route for you to get that scholarship and play Division I basketball as a walk-on?
Yeah. So I mean, the decision came down to, like, I just made a list. Like, here's the pros and cons.
Okay.
Right. And so the pros was, like, I didn't want to go and keep transferring because if I go from one university to a JUCO back to I'm only getting 2 years at whatever school I get after that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be somewhere and grow some roots, get to know the fan base, all that good stuff. I wanted to have some really good experiences at that level and just kind of root myself somewhere. And then the other part of it, I wanted to play Division I, but that school had the major I needed. It had kinesiology. And that's what I wanted to go into. Versus I could have gone to a junior college. Developed for a year, which I needed. Mentally, physically. I needed my game to mature. And then go to a Division I, maybe on a scholarship. But those are the pros and cons that I weighed, and it worked out for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Well, so like you said, you had your basketball journey, and then it obviously with the pandemic it shifted, right?
Yeah.
And then you came back. You came here. You came home. Before we get all into all that, well, I always ask this kind of as my lead question because I'm always curious at different people's takes. Obviously, AAU basketball, you've been around it, and it's obviously shifted over the years and it's grown into a very powerful athletic, entity. Hence why this podcast is even created. What's your overall take of it? What's your good, bad, and different? What's your you look at it as a whole. What is it you see?
I'm starting to understand why people older than myself were hating on it when I was playing AAU.
Okay.
Because I look at them like it's just way too flashy. It's for all the wrong reasons. People are focusing on the wrong things. mean, the development isn't there, but you have this. I don't know. I think I'm indifferent because I'm not in it.
Yeah,
and it's all I'll say is it's a completely different monster than what it was when I was playing.
Right.
You know?
Like you're that, and that was funny because like when people go back to previous episodes, like if you listen to the show and you go back to previous episodes, you can see Mark's transition from being strictly in the training world to seeing the AAU world, and you can see there were some days he was like, "This is cool," and some days he's like, "Oh, fuck this!" Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's what That's why it's very cool and interesting to see your side of it because you're new, like you said, you're not in it. You work with the athletes,
right?
And obviously you build relationships with them and have advice. You know, you train plenty of my kids. You know what I mean? That I coach, and I'm sure those conversations come up. But you're right, because your focus is the athlete. It's not the club, the business. It's not all that extra, right? So it is pretty interesting to see that side of it. You know what I mean? Well, then, let's talk about your gym's journey, right? Yeah. So for people that don't know, who are just listening or watching on YouTube, if you're here, he just created your gym. How many months has it been?
We just had the grand opening last week.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you kind of did your soft opening. And you were still training athletes and stuff. Months. Yeah. And I want you to kind of walk through that journey, but also the precursor because you were working with Ryan, right, at touch shooting and things like that, and which is kind of led to make all this happen, well, no pun intended, but led to make all this happen. You know what I'm saying?
So I'll try to give the readers digest. And I'll start with like this is definitely not my timing because I got here and I started working at a training facility and I was like, okay, 3 to 5 years, I want my own place.
Right.
And like 9 months after I said that, like I just opened the doors. So when I started at a facility in LA. And all we did was train pro athletes, and I was an intern there.
Nice.
And so fast forward to I'm now in Roseville training, and I happen to go back home. Now my hometown is half suburb, half farmland. Okay. When I'm home, like I'm in my chill mode. I'm relaxed. My uniform is some cowboy boots, some jeans, and a Carhartt shirt. Like that's me at home, relaxed. So my mother owns a flower shop.
Oh, nice.
On not Thanksgiving, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, one of the trainers at that facility goes, "Hey, can you bring me out some flowers?" I go, "I got you." I was supposed to be on Friday. I get there a day late, not at the same time. I wasn't even supposed to be at the gym at the time that I was at, none of that. I walk in and Ben Roseboro, who I didn't know at the time, was training. And they had drove all the way down from Sacramento to LA to train just with this trainer.
Wow.
And so I start talking to Barry, not knowing who Barry was at the time, his brother, and his dad. And, here I am with a bouquet of flowers in my hand, some cowboy boots on, some jeans and a Carhartt shirt. And I'm trying to convince him, like, you guys just drove 6 hours down for this. Like, this is exactly what I do. I used to work here. Like, I take all their methodologies. And, like, This is what I root everything that I do in. Shout out Athletic Gains. Like, they were just, like, massive, and like I just fell in love with everything how they did, what they do. And so that really got the ball rolling. I met Barry, I met Ryan, and we were supposed to build lead within touch shooting. That same warehouse. And deals happen. There were too many cooks in the kitchen. I said this just isn't right now. It's not right now. So I removed myself from that. We went out to Roseville. I live in Roseville, so it's a lot easier for me. A little less of a commute.
Life easy.
And just found a place and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this because I'd rather have, like, I know own a business. Like, I know the challenge that I signed up for. It's not easy.
No, it's
but
not.
If I'm gonna have failures and setbacks, let me figure that out now.
Yeah, smart.
Right, I'm 25. Like, let me figure that out before I'm trying to do it when I have kids.
You're like 30 steps ahead of me.
Yeah,
shit. I'm 38. So no, man, that's really cool. And obviously, like you said, you're gonna make your mistakes and figure things out as you go. For anybody listening or hearing this or understanding this, especially if you have that passion to become a trainer, because there's always guys that like you said, that want that next step. Just understand you're making a bet on yourself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're investing in yourself, and you might as well, if you're going to make a bet on anything, bet on yourself, right? And you could fail. You know what I mean? It is a possibility, and I listen to different motivational speakers and things like that, and they say like, "Oh, don't think of failure. Don't think." Well, I personally don't. I don't believe in that. I think you calculate success. You acknowledge failure, but you calculate success because you're going to have small failures along the way. Mm-hmm. It's just how do you bounce back from it? You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, COVID was a huge failure. Yeah. You've seen this gym. You know what I mean? Imagine paying the bill every month and then, boom, shut down. Yeah. It wasn't like they said, oh, you don't have to pay bills this month. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a huge failure or hurdle. But me and Kenji and, thankfully the Rockland community and stuff kind of gathered and galvanized and helped us get through it. And, we're here we are, and we're thriving again. But it was tough, you know what I mean? And so for any of you guys that want to walk this path, just know there's going to be ups and downs and there's going to be things to learn. But to me, the key to success is adapting fast, right? I always talk about Simon Sinek is a guy I really listen to. He talks about the infinite game and the finite game. The finite players are the people that are looking to achieve a singular goal, right? Like, oh, I want to be better. I always piggyback with it. Like a lot of AAU programs want to be better than YBA. We want to be better than YBA. We want to be bigger than YBA. Okay, well, you achieve that, then what? Right. You know what I mean? Right. But YBA, our goal is to just keep going. Yeah. We don't want to be better than anybody. We just want to keep playing in the game. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I always try to tell people, have that infinite mindset. You know what I mean? So, it's interesting to hear. How about this? Going through opening this gym, getting the space, checking out different locations, I'm sure, and all this. So how much time do you think you spent or invested in making all this happen?
It's crazy because it happened immediately.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Honest to God, like it happened. So I found the location, I got the keys, the equipment showed up, we're here.
When you saw it, I mean, did you just know like this is the place?
No, I didn't, because I saw it and I kept talking to my real estate broker, like, hey, like what else is out there, this and that. But those dominoes fell immediately because of this 6 months before. Okay. So 6 months before is when I met Barry. Right. We all sat down the next weekend here in Roseville, and I wrote the business plan. Bought the website and built the website. I designed the facility that we're supposed to make in Rancho. Wow. So by the time it got to here, okay, here's the facility in Roseville. This is where it's going to be. It was polished. Like, it was ready to go. Nice. I had to make 3 phone calls. I had to make, the equipment phone call and 2 others, and like we were good. Nice. Wow. But it was set up because it was so many, and bless my fiance, I would come home every single night and be like, I'm just going to redesign the whole place. And she's like, stop. Like, you've already done this 15 times. Like, it's good. How you got it is good.
No, it came out great. I saw the photos and everything. It looks good. It looks really good.
But by the time that the equipment got there, it was like, all right, this is where X, Y, Z, we're good. It's buttoned up. But it was just so many weeks of trial and error just through computer programs or just trying to match the pieces up. Yeah. From a design standpoint.
Yeah. And Mark, I mean, I know, well, you on your venture right now, in case people don't know, because I don't think we talked about it on the show, but you're doing your clothing line, right? And your gear and all that stuff.
Merchandise now. So, that was a process that, to be honest, that took, because of COVID, that took like a year. Yeah. So that was, but now it's here.
Right.
That was a process too. Just, again, like kind of going back to what you were saying about the whole failure thing. Like I was training at a park for a year because of COVID. Everything got shut down, and of course I'm back in the gym now, because gyms are opened up and I'm training at a gym. But man,
you had to adapt.
I was outside, bro. I had a tan, it was hot. The fires was going on. So to kind of think about like going piggyback to what you were saying about that, like, the infinite game and the bigger picture. Like I could have just stopped, waited till all the gyms open, but then all of my kids are gonna be like the other kids waiting to where I expect a lot of big seasons for a lot of kids because we continue to work. So again, like you said, it's a mindset of trying to understand just to keep going. So yeah.
And I think it's a challenge, right? And we all understand that in this room, but I don't know. I guess as athletes, we've just learned to embrace challenges because that's kind of like our whole life.
Absolutely. I one of the things that bugs me is you see business owners complain about owning a business, like, oh, it's hard and this and that. Like, I fully understand the challenge I signed up for,
right?
So I can't complain about it. Yeah, I'm gonna go do something about it, but I can't sit back and complain like, oh, this is hard or I can't do this. I signed up for it,
right?
I knew what I was getting into. But to go on your point, like you've been training in a park, or you started training in a park for a year. It was humbling. It was amazingly humbling to me because I had to go and convey to these kids like who I am and my philosophies. Yeah. And that's still getting kind of refined. I'm still trying to learn like how to best present what I know. Yeah. But when we started, like this whole last summer, I had a pair of adjustable dumbbells. I had some Swiss balls. I had some water tanks and some med balls, and that was it. And I was training on the side of a basketball court, like on the sideline.
Right.
Like I could touch the sideline and the wall at the same time.
Wow.
Like, but we just had that strip.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I was blessed to have Ryan, and Ryan gave me that opportunity. But at the same time, like I look at it, I had 20 kids who were like, all right, cool. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
There were some people that looked at it like, I'm not paying you for this.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
Like, even though like I'm not, I took full consideration. I'm like, I don't even have a gym. I'm not gonna like charge you guys, crazy amount. But like, let's rock. Like, this is experiment.
Yeah,
exactly. This is experimentation time.
Yep.
Right.
Get better.
Yeah.
So no, just illustrating with this point for the people listening and understanding because this is the perspective I really think people don't get is when you don't have a name, right? Because. Like, so I'm cool with Larry Hughes, right? Larry Hughes, we met at the Nike Phenom camp years ago. His son was there, and a couple of my players were there, and I was actually working the camp as a coach. And me and him kind of got to sit and talk and things like that. He opened a facility very shortly after that Phenom camp, and it's a great facility, like Jermaine O'Neal's facility, Drive Nation and stuff. Yeah. But obviously, when you're a former NBA player, right, that gives you that kind of stamp of approval. So I mean, of course, he has money. He had a great journeyman career, but you still got to go to a bank. You got to get approved. You still got to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it's much easier to get those approvals when you have a name attached to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So for those understanding and listening to guys like us out here, we are what we call hood famous, right? We local famous. People know us around town and things like that. But to build something out of nothing without that name or that prestige, man, I mean, that's a lot of credit to you, brother, because it's hard.
I'm before I moved to Roseville, I moved 8 times in the prior 8 years, and so like for me, like I moved to Roseville, I was excited because I love Roseville. I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere, so I'm like, hey, this is an opportunity. I can like lay some roots.
Yeah,
but it's a small market. It's not LA.
Right. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So I had to go from me thinking like, oh, I'm Blair Orr, I'm this pro athlete trainer, which
right.
That's what I had an ego. I thought that's what I thought at the time. To like, even the guy that I was learning from in LA who owned the facility, I remember we were on the phone call. He's like, yeah, I don't know any pro athletes that want to go to Roseville in the summer. Everyone goes to LA.
Yeah, that's true.
And
very
so
true.
From that, I had to adapt. Like now, I fully understand. Like we market towards high school, college, and whatever. If you walk through my door, we treat you like an athlete. Right.
Very cool. So that's what that actually it goes great to the next thing. Yeah. What is your because I talked about this last episode. Or not last episode, sorry, the episode with Lowe. He asked us a great question saying, asking us about trainers and stuff like that. And I said, in my opinion, every trainer has a point of emphasis. That's when I mentioned you. Yeah. What is your point of emphasis and what's the you call it the company slogan or whatever, but what's the goal of Lead Performance?
So the company slogan is Get Athletic.
Okay.
# Get Athletic.
Nice.
And like we build athleticism because the amount of DMs I get on a daily basis, it falls into 2 categories. Hey coach, how can I build my athleticism?
Right.
or like what are your prices? You know, like
That's
one
always
of the
the
two. And so I think that's like the best way that I can explain it. It's like we're gonna build athleticism in a safe way, but we know what that looks like now.
Okay.
Right. So you go to most high school strength coaches, especially when I grew up, like by the time I got to Cal State Northridge, it clicked. I was like, I'm not a basketball player. I'm a big old bodybuilder that happens to play basketball.
Right.
I moved clunky, right? I couldn't run. I could run real fast in a straight direction. You tell me to turn around, and I'm like, oh, shit. You know, I'm like a Hummer trying to make a U-turn.
Right.
It didn't look good. It looked painful for the people watching. And so,
At least you can identify it, right?
Yeah. So now to take all of these performance or for like a performance approach to it and really look at athleticism, you know, how to load tendons, how to load tissues and all of that. Like, we're not getting under a barbell and just bench pressing all day.
Right.
No one's coming in. I don't even have the capacity to really load up a barbell fully in my gym. You know, like we have six plates in there.
Right. Okay.
And so like no one's coming in and just throwing 400 pounds on their back and squatting.
Right.
And when athletes ask me that, because that's what they'll go to school and do in their weight class or in their after school program, like, you don't jump around like a bunny rabbit on two legs around the court. You're working on one. So let's train you on one. Let's train you like an athlete. So that's that. We train athletes how athletes need to be trained.
Nice. And I'm sure your degree has helped with that tremendously. Like I ended up getting my degree in that as well.
Yeah.
And but like I said on that episode, my point of emphasis is really, you know, fundamentals, right? Plyometrics, things like that, athletic movements. But I think I'm just a really good fundamental coach. You know what I mean? Of course, I could do the fancy stuff, but like, you know, you've seen me in the men's league and shit. You know, my package is very simplistic. It's not, you know, I don't. But again, it's just because I'm just trying to get the shot. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I'm just trying to shoot. You know what I mean? And of course, there's trainers like I would say like Marcus Kirkland. You know, he's the way he plays, his style of play. He's dribble. You know, get his shot off, and he trains that very well.
Shout out to Marcus.
Yeah, right. With you understanding the body mechanics and things like that. I mean, how much would you say that's really helped apply to your craft and just everything you do?
Yeah.
Because I think it's all trial and error, like you said. Some things are going to work, some things aren't. You're going to figure out what your niche is, right? So, you know, how's that helped your craft?
I think body mechanics or understanding that at least is going to, like, I really have a great understanding on how to hurt an athlete. Like, I really know really well how we can put you in a bad position to hurt you. So we're going to avoid that, like right off the bat.
Good.
But you can also look at the angles at which basketball is played, and it doesn't take long to realize, like, okay, well, if you can have all the right intentions, right? We're going to put this athlete and train them on one leg or in a split squat, right? Instead of just a bilateral back squat. That's the right thought process. You're getting there. But if we only train them in one plane, basketball doesn't work like that either.
No, it doesn't.
Right? So that constant cutting motion, like, I have to make sure that if, you know, one of my high school players is backpedaling and all of a sudden they have to change direction, their Achilles isn't going, or they're not straining their calf. If they all of a sudden have to turn and sprint, they're not pulling their hamstring. So it's also those angles that have to be trained. But with that being said, you also have to look at, like, okay, how much are they doing? So no athlete comes in to lead and does 100 box jumps in a day or even a week.
Right.
Right. Like, we're like the rule I kind of stick to is, like, we're staying under 30, like 30 jumps for the day. That's it. Cause you're about to go do a 2-hour practice and jump plenty.
True.
Right.
You're already training that, and you're probably jumping higher in practice cause you're warm. You have something that you're aiming for. You're trying to get to the basket. You're trying to get up and over somebody. Versus what good is it coming and just continuously jumping and all of a sudden now you have knee issues, you know, and you get wear and tear earlier than you should.
Yep. That's true. Makes sense. Like you said, you're applying science to what you're doing, right? Which is very intelligent. So I wanted to talk also kind of just because I think we can all relate to this in this room, and it's been a great tool for me and I think a great tool for all of us, social media. Right.
Yeah,
Obviously, you know, how pivotal has that helped you in your success? Like you just mentioned, you get DMs plenty, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how's that help?
It's been the only way that I've been able to pull this off.
Okay.
Being so new,
Yeah.
right? Because I've only been here a year and a half. I've been in Northern California itself for a year and a half.
Wow.
Nobody knew me even a year ago. Last summer, nobody knew me. You know, maybe some baseball players at Optimum Athletes, a baseball academy in Sacramento,
Right.
like they knew me.
Right.
But outside, like I didn't know the basketball scene at all.
Okay.
And so kind of building through that, meeting people. We were talking before this about when it comes to competition, like everyone can see what you do. So I tell a lot of my athletes, like I'm only worried about what's in our four walls.
Right.
Right. But with that being said, like I put something out there, it's for everyone to judge,
Right.
good or bad,
Right.
whether I get that
course.
feedback or not.
Yeah.
And the competition sees that too. Well, you can either say, okay, well, the competition's going to see that, and you start worrying about that. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of imposter syndrome.
No. What's
So
up?
imposter syndrome is this thought that you get in the back of your head of basically you look at what you're doing and you second guess yourself. Could I be doing this better?
Okay.
You start worrying about what other people are going to think when they see it.
I was doing that when I started this damn show. I was always texting him and texting Ty, and so like, y'all think this good? Does this look good? And now 32 episodes, I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Like this is cool.
Yeah. So the whole first year, honest to God, the whole first year plus, up until I actually got to Ryan's and was on the side of the court, I didn't film a single athlete. You can go through my phone. I didn't take a single video of a single athlete until early this past summer because I didn't want to post stuff. And then the people, because I aim to impress the people that I look up to.
Right.
Like, I'm not looking for validation from my peers. I'm looking for validation from my mentors.
Right. Right.
And I didn't want to start putting stuff out that my mentors would look and be like, really, this is what you're doing? All that you know and all that we taught you and all this advice, and this is what you're doing? And so I had that in the back of my head. And it wasn't until last week someone that I look up to and I've learned from brought that up. I was like, oh, everybody has this in some capacity or another.
Yeah, of course. I don't give a shit if they got 500,000 followers and stuff. There's still. I think you just get to a point where you just get comfortable and you're just like, this is who I am. Shit, take it or leave it. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So no, that's really cool. So, like, well, have you gotten in the habit of trying to post more?
Oh, absolutely.
I see your content all the time, and it's great stuff. Like you got whoever you're doing your camera work, he's doing a good job. So no, I definitely like that. What about well, Mark, you're always on that shit. I mean, you fucking a videographer yourself at this point.
Well, I mean, that's how I started all this off was, you know, kind of just teaching myself. Because again, you know, with the kids that I work with, like all these kids are on social media.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's on social media. And, you know, for me, for example, when I first started, like I knew what I had to do when it came to the training side, but when you look at the ball is life, the overtime, the slams, you know what I'm saying? My mindset into what I was doing with my social media, you know what I'm saying, was to copy what they were doing.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like copy what they were doing, but integrate it with my area and the kids that I work with. Because of course, overtime, Bleacher Report, you know, they're gonna hype up and showcase the pros or the top high school players.
Yeah.
I'm showcasing my kids in my area just like that. So
very much so.
that's basically what helped me kind of grow, because now I got people from SAC and the Bay. Like, you know, parents are like, damn, like I want my kid to be on that video. But at the end of the day, it's like, you got to put in the work with me.
Right.
Because I ain't going to put you know what I'm saying? Even though, like, I have shown progression of, you know, when they start from scratch to where they're at now. But again, like, you know, I've been doing it for 4 years now. Like, I've gotten to a point now, too, as well. Just like, okay, like, I'm, like what you said, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to make sure the stuff that I put out now, you know what I'm saying, is going to attract even the people that are at the top, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's kind of how I've been looking. Plus, again, 5 to 10 years from now, social media is going to really going to be more impactful than it is now. So
I mean, you go to a restaurant. I've gone to restaurants now. I don't even look at the menu.
Right.
What's on your Instagram? 'Cause I want to see what people look like.
Right.
Exactly.
What are
I
the
don't want no
comments? What are
surprises,
the
It's true.
And so, I mean, to that exact point, so the facility I was at in LA when I was interning was called Athletic Gains. And if you've ever seen athletes actually doing strength and conditioning on overtime, I almost guarantee you, whether it's I don't even know what they are, but Overtime is one of them. Max Preps has been in the USA Today. They're all taking those videos. So if you saw like the video of Lonzo Ball standing on a Bosu ball on the ball, that was Athletic Gains.
Really?
And so that was the standard that I got used to. So when I get out here, I was like, all right, I want to try and make that. Yeah. And it wasn't until maybe like 2 weeks ago I started getting this almost this feeling of like, let me master this, let me polish this off before I actually present this, because I don't want it to ever come across as fake. I don't want it to come across as I'm trying to recreate what Athletic Gains is doing. Because Athletic Gains did what they did. And then Max Preps, USA Today, you know, Hoop Culture, whatever it is. Overtime, they came for what they had built. I don't want to build a model and show off a model of what I'm trying. I want to build something and have people come organically.
Basically trying to create your own niche, you know what I'm saying? Like your own style.
Very cool. Well, like I said, so social media is definitely pivotal. So if you're a trainer, coach, AAU program, get on your algorithms.
I'll say this one more thing. I shook hands on a $50,000 deal that fell apart a week later because of social media.
Really?
Wow. Really?
Because they turned around, they said, we don't know if you're the guy anymore, because you don't have video on your social media. You don't have video on your Instagram of you training volleyball players.
So they went on there and tried to
Even though we talked for an hour and I said all the right things and they agreed with everything, they came back a week later. I don't know if this is right.
Because we're
going to go with this other guy because he trains volleyball players. We don't actually. You said all the right things. You know how to train volleyball players. They don't have video proof of it.
So they brought that up. Like,
wow,
$50,000 deal just gone.
Shit, Thanos came and snapped his fucking
Yeah.
There you go. Learn there. Man, that's good to hear. People learn from this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the networking aspect, right? Because like you said, you're new, you're learning. I know me and you are solid. You know what I mean? That's but I mean. Have you been really like getting your feelers out there, working with others, and you know, trying to, because it is tough, and you know, the reason I would say is it's me and Mark talk about it all the time. I think I talk about it on the show. I'm very fucking candid about it at this point because I recognize I'm a king of my castle position. Let me put it like that. YBA is YBA. If you fucking hate me or love it, it's not going to change what YBA is. So I know I can speak a little more candidly because I'm not going to feel repercussions. You know what I'm saying? Somebody in the Bay or some mom and pop program might say, well, fuck that guy. Okay, yeah, fine, but I'm still going to have 52 teams.
We've had that before. We've had that. Fuck Chris. Posting shit, talking shit about shit.
Exactly. And what happened? YBA still here, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not, but I understand that position I'm in. I try to, and the thing is, like, I call receipts on myself. Like, I try to network. I reach out to people, like Ryan, for someone I mentioned. I reached out to him several times to do the show. I don't think he's big time in me, so let me make that clear in case anyone tries to be like, oh, he's talking shit about it. No, I don't think Ryan's big time in me. I think he honestly is just busy as shit. Like, that's personally what I think it is. Because he has responded back to me and talked to me. He's like, man, no, I do want to do your show. One guy who I think is big time in me a little bit, and I don't want to speak on it, but maybe this will get to him and someone will tell him I don't give a shit.
A little motivation.
KP from Arsenal. Like, I feel like he's big time in me a little bit.
Where
because
are they based out of?
Fairfield.
Okay.
Yeah, Fairfield. Okay. They're like, they get the, like, they would get some of the Vanden kids, but most Vanden kids go somewhere else. But he gets like that area. He's kind of closer towards your area, right? So, I think KP does great work. He's a good dude, but it's like, we've talked. He has my number. I have his number, and I've reached out to him a few times. Like, hey man, you gonna do the show? Like, what's up? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, come on, bro. What are you doing right now? So I'm saying all that to say I get how hard it can be to kind of try to network with people because there's always like this
egos.
Yeah, right. And it's always this kind of, well, what do you want from me? Like, oh, you want me to do this, but you trying to get over on me. It's just this paranoia, right? I just can't live my life like that. Even like when I asked him to do the show, I mean, originally I was asking Tet. Tet was too busy with William Jessup, so I naturally thought Mark would be a good one, either him or Marcus. And Marcus said, fuck no, because I live in South Sac. I'm not driving to Rockland. And I said, okay. And then Mark was like, no, I'm down, bro. Like, let's do this. Because I said the same thing to him. I said, dude, I know you coming from Dixon. That's a hell of a drive. So, and he's like, no, fuck that. I'm down. Like, this is a good idea. And here we are, and we're doing our thing.
Kind of like just what you just said, like, I don't even know if I told you this, but I mean, yeah, here we are, 32 shows later?
Yeah.
My mindset, I remember when you told me, because, like, yes, I was thinking about it, because, like, damn, that's a drive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, for me. But at the end of the day, the reason why I did it, just like you, of course, to impact more people, but it's this, like, meeting him.
Yeah.
Meeting, meeting DB.
Yeah, right.
Meeting Lance. Meeting all these people that now that, yes, I have meeting Low.
Yeah.
From Oakland Soldiers.
Yeah, you have the VP Oakland
to where
Soldiers.
like I have these kids now where I work with where like, okay, I can actually reach out to somebody to give them opportunity. Right?
Yeah.
Like to me, that was always the plan to be on this show, even if I have to drive all the way from Dixon, was to not just help, what I do, but to learn.
Yeah.
So I always ask these questions so I can help my kids, which I'm probably gonna have a question for you later. You know what I'm saying? About okay, what like tell me, so I can, if my kids are listening, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna help them. So like I said, I remember when you told me that, and I was like, oh man, that's far, but then I was like, no, like I think this is a sign, this is timing. You know what I'm saying? This can just help everything that I'm doing. And again, like, no ego. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, like you know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with Chris. Chris is big bro. I can learn from Chris. And again, here we are. You know what I'm saying? So,
And that's the biggest thing, being able to just kind of park the ego and be like, hey, I can learn from this situation.
Right.
Getting to your original question about
your
competition, like, I don't have time for it.
Right.
So I've had people not respond. I move on to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I've had people block me on social media because they don't like that I'm competition. I move on to the next person. Like it's okay. It happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't benefit me or hurt me.
Yeah.
I move on to the next person.
Yeah.
And from that, I've found, I don't know what the number is. I mean, if you want to say maybe there's 50 people that have said yes to trying to do something, there's been 3 people that have said no.
That's what I want to say. Yeah,
there's been so many more doors that have opened than doors that got shut in my face, to the point where the one person that I feel like does the same exact job as I do is, you remember T-Mobile? You used to have your Fab Five?
Yeah, of course.
It's in my Fab Six. Like he's like
That's
pinned.
dope.
He's pinned in my text because we text every day.
Nice.
Whether it's about training, it's about life, it's about God, like that's somebody I can learn from.
That's
he
really
has
cool.
experiences, and to the point where he and I put together a thing. We had the grand opening last Saturday of Lead. The next day we had almost 24 coaches, therapists, Gen Pop trainers come in. Everyone checked their ego at the door. There were people that walked in my door that I was like, oh my God, like I've learned a lot from you, and this is the first time we've met.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea. I've listened to podcasts, social media, whatever it is, and I've learned amazing concepts from you, and this is the first time we're meeting. You're here, that's dope.
That's sick.
And we sat and we talked for 3 hours.
Nice.
Not a single ego, not a single person said, this is who I am.
They big time you, right?
Not a single person. The head performance coach at Jesuit,
Nice.
People with their PhDs and therapists and just, it was all these great minds just talking shop for 3 hours.
Wow. That's
and we
dope.
walked away with one of the smartest people there probably saying, or one of the probably smartest people there saying, hey, the next time we do this, I want to start doing like A, B, and C and doing like lectures and stuff like that. Like, like we want to keep doing this and keep learning and keep benefiting everybody, because the end result is going to be the athletes.
Yep.
The athlete's going to benefit.
Yep.
If I have something I can teach another trainer, his athlete's going to benefit.
Yep.
My athlete's going to benefit from him. So I don't see there's pros and cons. I don't see any cons from that.
Very cool. And let me make this disclaimer, because if people listen to this show and always some shit gets started. But no, me and KP are cool. Like, let me make that clear. I'm fucking joking in terms of like big timing me. I don't think he's like really fucking with me like that. I just
Got
think
to get him in here.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, but someone's gonna mess
Or a response.
Yeah, someone's got a message or be like, Chris was talking shit about you, KP. I'm like, oh please, man, it's not that serious. But no, I always try to reach out. I mean, I'm gonna reach out a couple times. If someone does it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. You know what I mean? I've had great guests here so far, from pro athletes to refs to
Comedians.
comedians, right?
Yeah.
Like who, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't care.
Whoever's supposed to be on the show is supposed to be on this show.
Exactly.
Like that's just how it is.
You know, because I very much came into this with the intent of just hearing people's stories and just learning. And I just think it's a, you know, like you said, you enjoy the environment here. I wanted to create a cool environment. I wanted to create an environment where guys could just sit, talk basketball, and then people could hear it and be like, man, I kind of learned something from that dude. I didn't know I didn't know that about him. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's the message most people get. So then last question before we move on to the good NBA stuff. What's the plan? What's the 5-year plan?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
you know, do you want to multiple facilities, bigger facilities? Like, I mean, you know, what are we looking at here for 5 years from now?
I don't think I want bigger.
Okay.
I love the size of my facility. I want more.
Right.
But I think what I want to do is I want to take my facility, recreate it in somewhere like this, somewhere like Ryan's, and we start going and we start building these facilities where athletes have to travel less places.
Okay.
Let's create an environment where a basketball player or volleyball player can go do their practice, immediately turn around, do their weight session, immediately turn around, do their therapy.
Nice.
Right.
I like that.
And we go A, B, and C. You're done. Yeah. You're training maybe 3 times a week. That's the other thing. Like I have no problem kicking some of my kids out of the gym. Like I know that you just went from my workout yesterday to practice to weights at school to your coach running you into the ground for 5 miles to skills training. You don't need to be here at 5 a.m. the next day. Go sleep. Anyways, that's a whole nother subject. But that's the plan. I think I want to branch out in that regard. There's a bunch of different things I want to continue to bring people together. I eventually want to start making. Everyone talks about a platform. I don't know if I align with that word, but some form of media where we get different levels of people in the same group. Yeah. To come together and do exactly what we did last week. No egos, leave the egos at the door. We all sit down, we all talk, and have athletes benefit from that. Have people benefit. We get a college coach, we get a junior college coach, we get a high school coach, we get an AAU coach. We sit them down, have a discussion. Let's talk about the pros and cons, who likes what of all these different outlets, all these different facets of what they do, and then let's go and get a private PT, a sports PT, a Medi-Cal, PT, right. Let's do the same thing. Smart. Let's do it for volleyball. Let's do it for football. Let's start bringing people together, and then you start getting. If an athlete if we make 100 videos and the athlete watches all 100 and they get 2 pieces of information that they walk away with, hey, at least we gave them something. Right. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like your master plan. You want to create a nice networking web of people to just kind of reach out to for different things. So, no, that's really cool. Mark, you had anything left for an extra? I know I probed this man a lot.
Well, one question I did want to ask you, you know what I'm saying? This is for not just my players, but anybody. Because, of course, like I understand how important, as a skills trainer, how important it is for my players to also focus on the strength and conditioning, you know what I'm saying, to build their bodies, to build their athleticism. For you, right, so during the off season, the summertime, and then compared to in season. Yeah. How much should a player be training when it comes to the strength and conditioning side of it, knowing that they're working with their skills trainer, they're doing other things during the summer, and then how much does that number drop of how many times you're working during season? Because I believe, and I don't know if you believe that too, like I still believe in season you still should be, of course, the load is less. You still should be polishing. You still should be working out even during season, knowing that, okay, you're not doing 6-7 days a week, 2 to 3 times a day, because, of course, school and practice. For you, in your opinion, picking your brain, what's the workload for you during the summer and then during in season?
It depends, and like that's always the cop out, right? That's always the cop out answer, but like it does. So if you're in the off season, like right after off season, you're starting to lift heavy. That's going to look different than preseason. It's going to look different than in season. Okay, right? We're just going to look at how much you're loading your central nervous system throughout the week. If you have a game only on Friday, then let's go a little heavier on Monday. Okay. Maybe Wednesday, but we're still taking enough rest. Like if everybody could have a whoop. Yeah, like the little band that tracks your recovery, that'd be great. not everyone does.
Right.
But I think it's as long as you're getting the recovery that you need to. I don't think that there's a limit. Like, obviously, you're not going to go 6 days a week in the weight room. But also, we kind of got to look at, like,
I don't know, unless you're one of his guys. He has some guys that they would work that much.
Don't stop.
Yeah. Oh no, I got some guys. Like I said, like I gotta tell them, hey, don't come in here. Like, you're doing too much. I need you to go recover, otherwise you're gonna be burnt out by Friday.
Right.
One of the things, and I'll say this is hopefully like a super easy answer is, I'm not the guy to put out new information. You know, like I'm not the, hey, here's this research article and I broke it down and here's all this. I know who I am. I'm not that. I take care of the athletes in my facility. But I have no problem saying that if you can't go to my facility, PJF Performance, right? Corey Schlesinger might be a little bit outside of people's like understanding or like knowledge level. But like there's a whole plethora of different outlets that give great information specifically for basketball players. PJF Performance is the absolute pinnacle of that. And like if you just watch, like he gives so much free content. It's ridiculous.
He does.
Like, you have to pay for some of his content. As you should.
Right.
There he gives out a lot of stuff. And so like knowing that I'm not that information guy, like, hey, like go seek that out. And I think that that's going to give a lot of answers because like I said, it depends. I can't tell you that your center is overworking, that your point guard isn't. So they're going to be different. PJF Performance, I think can kind of narrow that down.
Shout out to PJF Performance.
Well, very cool. So let's get into some hot takes. Not that bad. There we go. There we go. Perfect. There's my right button. All right. So hot takes. Usually hot takes is usually something that's going on in society or something like that. But actually, an NBA hot take. Tonight at the game, Lakers and Detroit. LeBron gets kicked out. I think it might be only his second or third time ever being ejected in his entire career. And the young kid, Stewart, wanted to knock his head off.
Who is Stewart?
Stewart, what's his first name?
Plays on the Pistons.
He plays on the Pistons.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pull it up on your phone and check it out real quick. I don't care. Shit,
I don't know if it was an accident or not. You seen the video?
Yeah, I saw it, bro, and he punched him. Like they kept saying, "Oh, it was an inadvertent elbow." I'm like,
That man's lip touched his shoulder.
Yeah, I said, I don't know how inadvertent that is, but
I just think LeBron didn't think that he would get fucked up like that.
Yeah. I think he was trying to make a little get off me. You know what I mean? But he started leaking, and so I watched. It's pretty bad. I watched frame by frame.
Okay.
Because again, you know, once I saw this, I was like, "Oh, great for the show." Fuck that. Let's put this on. Like, so I'm watching frame by frame. Immediately after he did do the initial hit, from my perception, looking at it, he did look like he was trying to apologize. I want to say he was kind of like he looked like he was walking over, staying calm, and was kind of like, "My bad" or whatever.
He saw the blood. That's
but
why.
then the Stewart saw, you know, like, holy shit, Mike, you know, all hell broke loose after that. Now I know it's Detroit, so, you know, everyone's like, oh, Detroit, you know how they get down, like, whatever. But, because, like, even Candace Parker, when she got into her big fight, that was in Detroit and all that stuff. So, and we all know about the malice, and, it's just some history there. But the biggest takeaway, because I was reading, you know, I was seeing people's comments. I'm in this one Facebook group called Sports Debate. Of course, everybody's talking about it. They like the first initial one. LeBron didn't want no smoke. He was scared. But I'm like, all right, man, let's stop. I said, and I personally, this is what I said. Normally I don't comment on this stuff, but I just said, fuck it. I gotta say something. Everyone kept bringing up, and this is what was just so funny to me. Everyone kept bringing up how he's a billionaire. They were like, oh, billionaires don't want to fight with someone making $40K a game, and he's. You know, he doesn't fight with peasants. Like, I mean, they made it a money thing. And I was like, so that was my only response. I said, why are we talking about LeBron's money in the midst?
Like that went through his head.
Like, like, I'm a billionaire. I don't want to get involved. I said, isn't he a man first? Like, at the end of the day, I don't think LeBron did it on purpose. I don't think he was trying to hurt this kid. But at the same time, like, yeah, you fucking hit me above my eye and I'm leaking. Yeah, we might have to throw some paws. You know what I'm saying? It's like I get Stewart's side of it. I get LeBron's side of it. I don't think LeBron wanted to fight, but like, stop bringing up. This is just what's annoying to me in kind of society. Stop bringing up people's bags and money when it comes to shit that don't have nothing to do with money.
Right.
That's just annoying to me. Like, you know, you see these dumbass arguments on social media about it, and it always comes down to, well, he got more money. You know, fuckery is fuckery. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, when Lizzo went to the Lakers game and had her ass out and was shaking, so she's rich, so she got that bag, so, you know, she can shake her ass. What? No, like, fuckery is fuckery. Like, Westbrook's rich, but he was wearing a skirt and a dress with blue hair. Like, I'm not co-signing that because he's rich. Like, that's just, again, that's just me at the end of the day. I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but, you know, what I saw was two guys getting into it. Yeah. I think LeBron knew he was wrong, but I will say, you know, Detroit, that motherfucker Stewart might have should have played football because he was breaking tackles left and right, bro. He should have played some goddamn football.
Like, kind of going back to what you were saying, like, well, first of all, yes, LeBron is rich, and LeBron is LeBron, so there was no way Stewart was going to get to him.
Right,
they had security. They had
like 50
Westbrook had his hands up, ready to protect LeBron. Like, LeBron knew, like, he ain't going to get to me. Ain't
LeBron went all the way to the baseline and chilled out. He was like, but, you know, I don't know. Well, you just saw. What do you think?
I don't know. It reminds me. I don't know how recent it was. It reminds me of when Siakam got hit at the Kings arena. Like the Kings game.
I didn't see it, but I saw like a footage with him leaking and stuff.
So Pascal's another athletic gains guy in LA, but he got hit, and the DJ for the Kings started playing "Bleeding Love." Oh, that guy deserves a break.
Yeah, exactly. Like, see what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just,
the LeBron thing is immediate reaction. I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love, with me being in the career that I'm in, people love to talk about LeBron. Have you seen the squat video?
No, I haven't seen it.
He's got like this funky squat. And,
LeBron's doing a squat or
yeah,
okay.
He's got a barbell on his back. Yeah. He sticks his butt about 10 feet behind him, right, and then he moves about that big, and it's not what he does, because I understand like the biomechanics and like what his trainer's trying to do,
right?
Because keep in mind, like people forget, like, it was now years ago, the fact that this guy's still playing, years ago he was scheduled to have back surgery.
Yeah.
And he didn't, because they fixed his biomechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So you take someone like that who is such a specialized athlete and you give him something specific to that extent. I just love the people who are sitting at home and just go, that's not right. I'm sorry. You go take that $1 billion athlete, go teach him how to squat, and don't mess him up.
Right, exactly.
Like, okay, we're just all experts now.
Right.
Because you can't understand what he's trying to do for something so I love it, man. I love it. Heated moment, crazy moment.
I think the overall, I think the Lakers responded well. I think Detroit responded well. The security, the coaches, everyone. It was like 5 guys on this guy. They were holding him back, and Westbrook. They made memes of him squaring up, and so they were like, that's the most defense he's played all season. I was like, damn. I said the internet is undefeated, bro. But yeah, just thought that was a crazy hot take. If you haven't seen the video, I'm sure you're going to at some point. LeBron's probably more than likely going to get at least a 2-game suspension, I would say, maybe 1 or 2 games. Stewart, I would.
I think he's gonna get more.
I mean, they're probably.
I don't know if LeBron will get suspended.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I feel like they've laid back off of suspensions so much.
Maybe. I mean, only reason I could say they might suspend Stewart is because he escalated, but at the same time, the dude, I mean, it was bad. I mean, the dude was just had blood on the whole side of his face, and again, we as athletes and stuff, I mean,
you go into fight or flight.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, it crosses a line. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you ain't thinking I'm an NBA player anymore.
Right.
That's why I tried. Yeah. That was what I was illustrating on the Facebook post. Like, before LeBron the basketball player, before LeBron the billionaire, before LeBron the Family Guy, before LeBron, Space Jam. Like, he is a man, you know. And Stewart, before, I don't know how many years that I have no idea how many years he's been in the league or anything like that. But those are still two men that just got into it a little bit, and one got really mad and one tried to walk away and de-escalate it. That's all I see. That's, I mean, you know what I mean? But, of course, the media and everybody else, you know, I can't wait to see Shannon Sharp tomorrow and Skip Bayless talk about all
talking shit about
Skip's going to go, if it was Michael Jeffrey Jordan, he would have knocked him out. And I was like, all right, Skip, we get it.
As basketball players, like, we've all been in that situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If I was in the NBA, like, all 30,000 of those people just immediately disappeared.
Yeah,
me and you. I see red.
Right.
You know?
So that's what I'm like. I guess I want to talk about that so people understand, like, basketball players, we understand we're professional, we understand our atmosphere, but you're human. Like, shit happens. You get heated. I'm sure LeBron's the type of dude, he'll reach out to him and say, hey, my bad, bro. And hopefully Stewart's receptive to that. And, you know, they'll get past it. I don't see this magnifying into anything else, but you got to love the circus, bro.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, something I wanted to bring up, saw a great analysis from this YouTuber. Let me make sure I'm saying everything, say his name right, because I want to give credit to this guy, Jxmyhighroller. He does these like really cool documentaries of different points of emphasis. He did a great 15-minute documentary on Steph Curry this season and just how incredible what he's doing. I mean, he put sheer analytics in. That's why I like. I'm kind of an analytics guy. He put analytics on it, numbers, facts. One thing that really stood out to me, obviously I'm assuming you guys know, Steph Curry's 9 threes in a game is at 37 right now, currently. And the next closest guy is James Harden with 9. That's like, that's how far this gap is, so people understand. And Steph Curry's 33, right? 32, 33?
33.
Like, he's playing better now than he did his unanimous MVP season. Like, legitimately playing better now. I mean,
he looks even more smaller.
He looks more hub. Like, exactly. And again, the guy's 6'2", like, 180-ish, you know what I mean? And it's just unreal. We all know clearly his shooting abilities amazing. Another stat that High Roller did that I thought was amazing. If he's on track, and take this with a grain of salt, it's kind of a rough estimate, but he's on track if he plays to at least 40. He did calculate this to at least 40, at least 70 games a season. Now, obviously, injuries or things like that could happen. He's on track to end his career with at least 5,100 threes. 5,100. I mean,
who's on top? Who's on top right now? Like,
he is. But he passed Ray Allen.
He just passed Ray Allen.
Yeah.
So what's Ray Allen at?
What was it? 4,000 and something. It was like 4,000.
Nobody's gonna break that
like
record.
it's so. I mean, it's just so unreal. We're watching. And I talked about it last episode, and I just say it again. And, of course, I'm a Warriors fan, so, yeah, I'm fucking biased. But at the end of the day, it's like we are watching something that's just unreal. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Watching MJ's unreal. Watching Kobe was unreal. Watching LeBron was unreal. The difference with those guys, and you guys can obviously put your input as well, I think what's just so unreal is we're looking at something being done that is achievable. If you understand what I'm saying. And what I mean by achievable is he's perfected his skill and craft to a point that someone could duplicate that.
Sure.
I mean, again, there's just some people born with these gifts, no doubt. But you can't necessarily duplicate being a LeBron. You know what I mean? You can't duplicate being an MJ, right? You can't,
Kobe did it.
Well, yeah, true. To a degree, yeah. But it's like Magic Johnson being showing that a 6'9" guy could be a point guard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just like, these are just certain things you're like, oh. Or Yao Ming being a freaking 7'5", amazing mid-range free throw shooter and started showing that bigs can knock down the three. You know what I mean? Like, those are things you can't necessarily duplicate. Obviously, people are trying, and the game has evolved by much. But Steph Curry, essentially, in the basketball world, he's not special. You know what I mean? If you just take the physical makeup of him, a 6'2", 180 guy, that's not. You know what I mean? You go to a men's league and destroy guys like that. You know what I'm saying? So he is he's making history and he's doing some things. What High Roller did, he called him a true unicorn. I want to play something for you guys real quick, and we'll incorporate it on the show. I want you guys to hear it and kind of take a look and kind of see his analysis and tell me what you guys think. Right? Just this little segment right here. Trying to do something new for the show.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. Let me see. Pull it up on my phone. So I think it was this part. Let me see.
Was far beyond just guards. If you've been a fan of the game for a while now, you
This
know
one
just
talk about
how
big men.
rare it once was to see a big man shooting the long ball. Just a decade ago, Drew Gooden attempted more three-pointers per game than any other center in the entire league. He averaged 1 3-point attempt a game. This season, 24 centers around the league average more than 1 3-point attempt a game. In Stephen Curry's first MVP season, only 14 players in the NBA averaged over 40% shooting from three, and 11 out of those 14 players were guards. This season, there are 14 power forwards and centers averaging at least 40% from three. These are big men shooting the ball as well as guards did just 7 seasons ago. There has never, ever been a single player who has had such a widespread impact on the game as Stephen Curry has had. I mean, it's really not even close. When Michael Jordan reached his peak, everyone wanted to be like Mike, but he didn't really change the way the game is played since no one could do the things that Mike could do.
Except
Magic
Kobe.
Johnson proved that you don't need to be 6'3" to run the point. But again, just being an unconventionally big point guard isn't something other players can just replicate. Mikan, Wilt, Shaq, Durant were all revolutionary in their own right, but they all possess traits that, for the most part, aren't things you can just work on and improve. You're either a 7'1" tank with freakish athleticism and a soft touch, or you're not. You're either a sharp-shooting 7-footer with a handle, or you're not. These players are what we like to call unicorns. The truly one-of-a-kind players throughout NBA history. Legendary sports writer Bill Simmons separates these unicorns into 2 different categories: traditional unicorns and true unicorns. On the traditional side, you'll find Wilt, Spud Webb, Shaq, Yao Ming, T-Mac, among others. And on the true unicorn side, you'll find Kareem, Pete Maravich, Magic Johnson, Manute Bol, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and a few other players. So, where does Stephen Curry fall on this unicorn spectrum? Find out what's strong with you.
Ads. Sorry, YouTube shit.
What if every time someone swiped their credit card, you got
Hurry up.
no matter
Jeez.
where you are or what you're doing?
Well, he certainly doesn't have the size of a Yao Ming or a Manute Bol. He doesn't have the physical dominance of a Shaq, Wilt, or Kareem. He doesn't have some oddly exceptional skill set that doesn't fit his frame like Rodman or Barkley or Magic. If you ask me, Steph Curry is the unicorn of all unicorns. In relation to NBA standards, he is a perfectly normal and quite average player. 6 feet 2 inches, 180 pounds, with a great handle and an elevated IQ for the game. But that shot, that one particular skill set that he has mastered to perfection, to the point where the entire game shifts off its axis as a result. Now that is truly a one of one. Eventually, someone will break Steph's 3-point record, whatever that number ends up being by the time he retires. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some player in the future drop 23s in a game and shatter every record that stands today. Young kids coming up right now will have a 25-footer in their bag before they even lace up for varsity. 30 years from now, we'll be talking about Steph like old heads today talk about Bird or Wilt or Kareem. To future generations that will inevitably benefit from Steph's alien-like abilities and innovation, his numbers will eventually be just that. Numbers on paper or a screen. But without any context, it's impossible to truly grasp just how spectacular this guy is. When Dr. J pulled this move off in 1980, basketball fans imploded. A move like this was inconceivable at the time. Today, this move is still incredible, but we see incredible things all the time now. Back in 2003, when Kobe Bryant sank 12 three-pointers in one game, it took days for NBA fans to settle down. Now, it seems like every other week, some player is racking up double-digit threes in a single game. The goalpost for exceptional feats is constantly moving. And when it comes to shooting the rock, Steph Curry isn't aiming for the goalpost. He is the goalpost. In fact, when Kobe Bryant dropped 12 threes back in 2003, it was, at the time, an NBA record. Here's what a chart of the most three-pointers made in a single game by an individual player in NBA history looked like at the time of Kobe's legendary game. Many other all-time great shooters had incredible nights from downtown, but in that moment, the record belonged to the Black Mamba. And here's what that same chart looks like if we include games played since Stephen Curry's historic 2016 MVP season.
Look at that chart.
That's crazy.
That shit crazy. Look at that chart, bro.
So I think to the exact point that he just made is like, yeah, it's just regular now.
Yeah.
And I think nobody else, even Curry, I think nobody else displayed that better than Westbrook. Because Westbrook, everybody at the end of that season was tuning in to try to see, like, oh, is he going to get another triple-double?
Yeah.
Right.
And then I remember the last 3 games this season, people had it, like, planned out. He needs to get 20 this game, this and that, to beat, whatever he was trying to beat.
Right.
Big O. And then I remember, like, so that happened. That was great and solidified Russell Westbrook as who he is. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, it's like, oh, wait, he did that another 2 years?
Yeah.
And
4 out
nobody
of the
talked
5.
about it?
Yeah.
True.
Like, everybody was watching to see if
Yeah.
he would make it that first year. And then the next 2 years, like, oh, yeah, he's
It
just
became
still
normal.
doing that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I think what's hurting him obviously is because it's not equating to championships, but that's a whole nother freaking topic. I'm not going to get on that one today. But they did get the win tonight, so that was a good part. Even despite all that, they did get the win tonight. So congratulations, Mark. You guys got it. He's a Lakers fan for sure. Just circle back with the Warriors. Klay Thompson just got cleared for full-on practice, so it looks
Dangerous.
like he'll be
Scary.
back. He'll be back by Christmas. That's what they're aiming for. So it's looking like that might happen. Obviously, I think the Warriors organization is, not only full of intelligent people, but very, they have a good staff. Obviously, with the Kevin Durant Achilles thing, I would say that's the biggest black eye on everything they've done. But overall, they seem to be handling Klay Thompson very well. The Suns are still in their hot streak, the 11 in a row now.
Yeah. Playing really good.
Do you think they could test the Warriors? Because right now, to me, you know me, I think the Warriors, the Lakers to me are the only people that have the personnel to potentially beat the Warriors. But the Suns, I don't know. It could kind of feel like fool's gold. You know what I mean?
I think it's fool's gold.
Yeah.
I still don't believe it, just because even with last year, it's just my opinion. With all the injuries and how everything, props to them.
Right.
But I feel like this year is definitely going to prove if they're really, really legit. Because there's just a lot of good teams this year.
Yeah, there is.
And so
There is.
I don't know. I just don't think in a 7-game series that they can beat a lot of these good teams. I don't know. Like I said, I
Still early-ish, so.
I'm just hating because they eliminated us last year.
What's your favorite team? Well, you got a favorite team?
The Clippers.
No. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up in a Laker household.
Nice.
Right. And through college, I ended up working for the Clippers in a bunch of different roles.
Oh, cool.
And so before we got Kawhi, the Clippers are just like end of the year, throw you a bunch of gear. So I throw on a Clipper shirt. I didn't even hear the news that we got Kawhi back then. I walk into a Starbucks and I got 2 different random old white dudes just, everyone's a Clipper fan now that Kawhi's in town.
You're like,
about,
what?
man?
Like, no, I'm a legit fan, bro.
Yeah, come on.
That's pretty good. You don't run into too many Clippers fans
No, you
nowadays.
don't.
That's true. Hey, got a
then we
Laker
got
fan and a
PG.
Clippers fan
When we
right
got
in
PG,
here.
I was like, it finally paid off. I'm still waiting for it to pay off.
that must have been a tough childhood, though.
Oh, man.
Like, damn, like you a Clipper fan, your whole family Laker fan? Like,
My whole AAU
Wow.
team was all Laker fans.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
stand your
survived.
Hey, listen,
You
one
know-
of my good close friends is a Spurs fan in Oakland. I said, how?
You want to know why I was a Clipper fan?
What's up?
I was a Clipper fan because when the Lakers would technically be the away team,
Yeah.
tickets were cheaper.
damn.
Tickets were cheaper. So we go to the games. Now we still had a concrete headrest, like
You're
there
right.
wasn't a single person behind me, but tickets were cheaper. So
True
we
that.
went to we
Nice.
got to see the Lakers.
Damn.
All right. Well, so on some local funny NBA news, the Kings had a game against the Jazz, and a guy that was courtside threw up
All on the floor.
wow!
all on the floor. Like that stopped the game. So
30
yeah,
minutes, 30 minutes.
yeah. When you guys go to these games, don't get too fucked up.
Yeah, blame it on the booze.
Yeah, he was just courtside. If you want to check that video out, go take a look. I'm not putting that link in, but yeah, that was pretty hilarious. And of course, the last thing that was big news is Luke Walton is no longer the head coach for the Kings. He got fired. Any thoughts on that, fellas? I know I'm not necessarily a Kings fan, but you know I keep an eye on him.
My wife. I remember I'm a Lakers fan. My wife is a Kings fan, and I was like, all on the same day. You have somebody throw up on the floor. Y'all been losing, and your head coach just got fired. Typical Sacramento Kings.
In the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Right. Eddie, you got any thoughts on that one, Blair?
Well, like, because now Rico Hines is they said, you know, first like the first assistant coach.
Yeah, and then Alvin Gentry is the interim head coach. Yep. And yeah, that's one dude I'm trying to. Man, I would love to get Rico on the show. I don't know if that would ever happen.
I just met him 2 weeks ago.
Oh, for real? Well, tell him if you could ever give him a conversation with him. Say, I would love to have him on this show.
I walk into the Burbank airport and I see this guy, and I don't think much of him, but he's got a hat, and he's got the mask, the sunglasses. I'm like, I don't think much of him.
Right.
You're in LA, like, you know, high level people.
Yeah.
Don't think much of him. So I get on the plane. I notice that he's sitting right behind me. We get off the plane in Sacramento, and we get in the tram, and I turn around, and it just came out of my mouth. Well, he's got the King's hat.
Yeah.
He's got the sunglasses, the mask, and the AirPods. Like, God doesn't want to have a conversation.
No, right.
But it just comes out of my mouth, and I just go, "Hey, man, are you Rico Hines?" And as soon as it came out, I was like, "Oh dear God!" I fully expected him to turn around and be like, "Oh, what? All black people look the same."
That's hilarious.
And he was super cool. And then I was like, "All right, like, let me not like just start.
Don't be a fanboy.
Let me not start a whole conversation." He's not in conversation mode with these AirPods, and he was cool. And one of my guys that works for the Kings texted me the next day. He's like, "Oh, hey, talk to Rico." It's like, "Yeah."
That's dope.
But yeah, I was like, oh dear God,
right?
What did I just say? Who is this guy actually?
No, I'm hoping. I'm hoping at some point, because like I said, I think I know a few people that interact with him and talk to him. He's one guy I definitely want to invite on the show. But obviously, man's busy, got NBA training stuff and all that, and they're in season. But love to have someone like that on the show. Yeah. I respect what he does, and he's super for the basketball community. He just reminds me of those OGs that really like tell you how it is, you know what I mean? I always had a few of those, and I always appreciated it back in Oakland. And then when you see the videos of him, he talks to the NBA guys, you know what I mean? It's not like he ain't dick riding or nothing at all. He's like, hey, come in here and
straight up,
come here to work, like, or get the fuck out. Like, I get it, you're rich, cool, go be fucking rich and go to Lifetime and do your thing there. But here, like, be ready to, you know, put some fucking work in. And I don't know, I just respect guys like that. I always like people like that. Moving on, just also saw some recent news. Do you know Marcellus Howard? You've seen like some of his content. Okay,
I met him once.
Really cool guy. I coached him, so that's why he was on my show.
That guy that's in my T-Mobile Fave 5 is one of the guys that trains him.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So I just saw on his social media, on his Twitter, I guess he got hurt. I don't know if he got injured or hurt.
He was done with the
and he was saying he's done with the YouTube. I don't know if you want to check it out real quick, Mark, but he it was a photo of him in his in the ambulance. It was it was pretty. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what happened. Like he broke something.
He probably like snapped it.
Yeah, so
like not just rolled it, not sprayed it. He probably snapped it.
And so I called him. He actually called me back while we've been filming the show. So I'm not gonna call him back right now, but I'm gonna call him later. But you know, shout out to you, man. I hope you're okay. I don't know what happened to make him feel that way, but you know, obviously the YouTube basketball space is a big thing. We had Jay last episode before you, Jordan Lewis, Drifty J.
He's been
exactly. We talked to him about this platform and stuff. I was just kind of curious your thoughts on it. What do you think of this YouTube street ball? I look at it, I call it theater. It looks like theater, you know. Of course, I believe there are some of those guys who are very competitive and just play great basketball. Like I said, I have my own YouTube basketball channel, but you know, mine is for fun. Mine is just for the love of the game. Like what's the dude's name? You know, the D3 guy, is it Ferrer? Am I saying it right?
For oh shit, I
You know what I'm
saying.
saying? He always says game and
Fabriga.
that shit. There we go. There you go.
Who?
Fabriga. Oh no, it's
Oh,
not
Friga?
Friga.
Friga,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
I think, you know.
I think like
right?
Devontae Friga.
Devontae Friga.
Yes,
I think he does it for the love of the game and just enjoys it. I don't think it's a, but you know, there's like the Briz, the Nick Brizzes, where they're doing it for clickbait and bullshit and all that, you know. So Marcellus is definitely one of those. I know for a fact he just loves basketball and loves just having fun and creating content. So, but I was just curious, what do you kind of think of it?
I'm numb to it because I saw so much of it in LA.
Okay.
You know, I've been in enough facilities and enough like basketball courts. Like I've seen enough of it.
Okay.
There's some people that love it. There's some people that do it. I can't hate on it. Like you're making money off of it.
Yeah.
And if somebody's tuning in to watch that, like cool, man. Like go make your money.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a whole career, and Lance said it himself. Like, you could be more famous than NBA players at this point. Yeah,
for sure.
So,
well, that name, image, and likeness came out in June, right? June 1st, I had an athlete, a college Division I basketball player, text me, like, "Hey, if you have any business, business ventures that you need a Division I basketball player." His name, image, and likeness for. I'd love to talk to you more. I was like, I ain't got shit for you, but like keep going. Go find somebody. You're going to. So I love it. Like it doesn't matter what your medium is. Like I can go use it if you have an audience.
This is the time to do it now.
Exactly. No, I'm for the content creation because again, I like reliving this day and age, and you know I'm older than both you guys, so I'm just saying I love that we live in this day and age that you can pave your own path. You know what I mean? A lot of this in my time, there was a lot of gatekeepers. There was a lot of unless you knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, you just didn't get a chance. And social media has leveled the playing field very much so to a point that one big thing could make you great. Like, I talk to Mark about it all the time, or Joe, my camera guy, and we talk about it all the time. Like, one episode, someone famous might check it out and really like it and share it.
That's how In the Lab was.
Yeah.
Because In the Lab started as a college project.
Mm-hmm.
And he just used the equipment that was at school, at his university.
Yeah.
Made it, and all of a sudden now he's got the Adidas sponsorship.
Yep. It's true.
It's crazy how it works like that.
Yeah, and that's, I get for some people that's the goal, right? Or I want to get famous. I want to get not really a big thing to me. I more or less I want to help the community, and I think we can all three agree to that. Like we love. I love what I do, helping the youth and helping the athletes, and it's more so. It's kind of it's something spiritual to me about it because seeing some of the climate things that have shifted in my lifetime right now, and you guys have seen it as well, for not to get too political and too all this bullshit, because I'm not big on all that, but from going from the era of Trump to where we're at now, the Black Lives Matter, social contracts, like what redo. I mean, look at you got two light skinned mixed guys, and a 6'8" white brother in here, chilling and talking basketball. You know what I mean? That's we're embodying to me what we hope to see. You know what I mean in the future, and I think sports and athletics is a good medium to make it happen.
Absolutely. You
know what I mean? And I hope people get that message from this show more than anything. Just fucking enjoy it. And basketball, we just happen to be obsessed with basketball. You know what I mean? Sports in general, like
you can get so down a funnel if you just stay within the same kind of bubble, right? Like I grew up in my town was very white. The town next to us was almost entirely Hispanic. Then you start getting down into LA and all that. And I'll say this, like I've been in situations in my hometown where I felt like uncomfortable around people. I've never felt more welcome and accepted as a human being than just like a random, like my best friend took me to his aunt's house.
Nice.
It was a house party in Compton.
Nice.
And like I'm this white kid from the suburbs. I thought I was gonna get shot that night. And like I have never felt more accepted.
They invited you
as a
to the cookout, man.
Oh man.
That's dope.
And yeah, so as long as you stay in your bubble, that's where people just kind of fall down this funnel. It's like a snowball effect.
Yeah,
you know.
True.
And I just I'm big on that kind of social side of it because, you know, I look at it like this. I'm director of an AAU club that's predominantly white in the suburban Sacramento area. You know what I mean? And I'm a kid from Oakland. You know, like it just shows you.
And you're loud.
Yeah, yeah. You know that. I'm very loud. And it's like, I appreciate that we can all kind of connect and sit down and enjoy each other and just be friends and just rap about hoop and sports and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I really try to reiterate how much I value this. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, anyway. Well, Mark, you got anything to say about any of this stuff?
I agree totally. Like you says, you know, diversity and, you know, open, because you might meet somebody regardless of race or religion that has the same passion as you, and you guys can share knowledge and maybe learn something new, you know, that can basically help you. So like you said, you know, being in a bubble, you know, you're not going to, you know, ever be able to, you know, expand and learn anything new. So, yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, with that being said, this is a great show. I'm glad you're here, Blair, man. I definitely want you guys to check him out. Shout out to our Patreon members who've been supporting the show. Like, you guys don't understand. Contributing, the funds you do really help. I don't care if you would like to support the show. It would be really great. We have Patreon's links down in the description. You can contribute as little as $1 a month, and it helps big time. Definitely going to leave links for all Blair's information for you guys. Go follow this man. Go check out his journey. He's doing big things. He's doing great things. And he's much younger than me, and he's figured it out. So, like, you know, definitely go see his evolution. For my athletes who listen, go to him. Like, he shout out to Derek Lamb, Kevin Hopp, my boy Matt Schroeder, Jaden Hurtado. You know, these are my guys, man. Kevin used to be YBA.
They're all texting me right
now. Yeah, right. Kevin used to be YBA. But I think his dad hates YBA now, so that's that's okay. Like, it is what it is. Kevin, you're still my guy, man. I hope you have a great season. Big shout out to the guys who have their high school season. I know you got your schedule ready to go check these guys out. Mark, I know you got your schedule ready. Go check these guys out. Keep having a great high school season. I think everybody's games is starting. Have a good Thanksgiving too, right? That's coming up. Have a good Thanksgiving. We're gonna keep dropping episodes out and getting information out to you guys. Mark, did you have anything left?
No, man, it was great meeting you, man. I'm gonna have to bring some of my GGT guys out to your gym and get some work in for sure.
Absolutely.
Any last words, Blair, to get out there?
No, man, it's been a pleasure.
All right, man. Cool. Everybody be safe. Protect yourselves. Live life, be smart, and we are out.